Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna. This is my second video that I'm bringing to you. I hope that you watched my first one. If you didn't, I will leave it on the description down below. I'll leave the link so that you can go check that out. But if you did, you know that I started baking sourdough bread about 3 months ago. And what I didn't know at the time was that there was such a thing as an oversupply of sourdough starter. So normally what people do when they start creating their sourdough starter, or they start fermenting their sourdough starter, is that you have to throw some of the starter away in order to continue feeding your sourdough, your starter. And what happens is that it starts sort of multiplying and you start getting a lot of sourdough starter, and you know, most people just throw this away, but I felt bad throwing food away because it is water and it is flour, and it just kind of looks like a pancake batter. And to me, like, we shouldn't be throwing pancake batter away. We should be utilizing pancake batter. So I found this really cool recipe where you can make a pizza crust out of sourdough starter, and that's what I'm going to be making today. I'm going to be making barbecue chicken pizza and chicken Alfredo pizza. And I'm not going to put like broccoli or anything like that. It's just going to be Alfredo sauce and chicken and cheese on the top, but it's going to be delicious. So let's get started. So here I have about 2 pounds of chicken, which I'm not going to cook completely. I just want to take like a couple pieces of chicken out of here. So I'm just going to clean up the chicken a little bit, and then also cut it up in thinner pieces. So if the chicken is this size, I just kind of want to run my knife through the middle and cut it in half, because I don't want to be cooking this chicken forever and a day. I'm gonna cut this chicken in half just so that we can cook it quicker. So I think that's a good enough width right there. And I'm only gonna do about 3 pieces of chicken, because I think that should be enough for us to, you know, kind of chop it into little pieces and throw it over as a topping. So let's get this chicken cleaned out. And these little pieces will not go to waste. My dogs know when I'm cutting up chicken, and they're normally just watching because they're waiting for their pieces. They know they get them every time. So, excellent. So I have about 2 chicken breasts right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the other ones in this bowl, because I'm not gonna cook them right this minute. So we will just get those in there. I'm gonna turn on my skillet, and we're gonna be putting it on the stove for about 12 minutes. That's really what it takes to cook chicken. So the chicken is ready to turn over. So here we go. Looks nice and golden, and that's exactly what we want. So we're just gonna let it go for a few more minutes. My chicken is cooking. I have a couple pieces here. They're just resting. I kind of like to leave them rest so that it's really nice and juicy. But I can get started on just sort of chopping some of my veggies. I have a half an onion from something that I made earlier today, so I'm going to be slicing this onion, and then we're going to put a little bit of basil, and we're also going to put some store-bought sauces, because I kind of debated whether or not to make the barbecue sauce, the homemade barbecue sauce, or the Alfredo sauce, but I decided I'm gonna go with store-bought today, and maybe on another video we can make some homemade barbecue sauce and some homemade Alfredo sauce. So let me start chopping. I went ahead and turned my chicken over because it was done on the one side, so I turned it over to the other side. It shouldn't be that much longer. Plus, we're gonna be putting it into the oven for a few minutes anyway, so it'll also get cooked from the oven. So I don't want to overcook it where the chicken turns out dry. So I'm literally just waiting till it's nice and golden on the outside, and then I'm pulling it out of the pan. And I'm by no means a chef. I am a very slow slicer and dicer. And I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I hope you guys can't too, since you're the ones watching. And really, we're just gonna need like a few little pieces of this. We're not gonna use, I don't think we're gonna use all of this by any means, but this never goes to waste in my house. We literally eat red peppers every day. With something, whether it's like in an omelet, or I'll cut it up into little pieces and put it into, you know, chili or soup or whatever it is that I'm cooking. It always has red bell peppers. I don't know why, but that is one of our favorite veggies, and we have it with almost everything we make. So I'm also going to slice my onion. And for the onion, I'm just gonna go this way. Okay, and then we'll just put that in our little containers here. Check on the chicken. This is almost ready, but I'm gonna give it a few. Now, while I've been cooking the chicken and chopping the veggies, I actually have my other cast iron skillet in the oven, and it's getting, it's just heating up for us so that it can be nice and hot, piping hot when we put our sourdough starter in it. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and pull it out and start making the crust. Put my cast iron skillet on here. And what I'll do is I'll take some of my sourdough starter, which is like literally full to the brim. So I'm gonna take my silicone spatula and I'm going to pour some in there. And I'm gonna start spreading it out. It's really hot, remember? So as I'm spreading it out, it's going to start cooking. And I'm just gonna pour a little bit more. And as it starts cooking, it kind of sets in to the pan, creating a crust. So as you can see there, I'm creating that crust. And what I'm gonna do is put a nice thin layer. And I'm also going to put a little bit of so what I did was put a nice thin layer, and as you can see, it's not moving. So I'm going to put it back in the oven so that it can set and it can actually get nice and crispy. So as that is going, I'm going to check my chicken. It's nice and golden. I gave it a few more minutes. I'm gonna pull it out and put it here on my other cutting board so that it can rest for a little while. And actually, because our veggies are not gonna be in the oven for that long, since the crust is already gonna be made, I'm actually gonna throw these veggies into the pan and saute them with a little salt and pepper and a little olive oil. So I'm actually gonna take advantage of the fact that my pan has a little bit of those chicken drippings for flavor. And I'm gonna cook these out for a little bit. And I think that's gonna be better for the pizza. I'm just gonna let those hang out there for a second. I'm gonna put some salt. that really good. And then I also like to get all that salt really well incorporated. Those are veggies. They're cooking up nicely. Okay, so I actually checked on my crust and I turned it over. I think it's a little too thin, and I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you what I mean right now. But the next one, I'll actually make a little bit thicker. I like a thin crust, but I want it to hold up really nicely, so I'll make it a little bit thicker. And this is going back into the oven after we top it. So, as you can see, there's our crust. And I think for this one, I'm gonna make the chicken Alfredo. I'm gonna put this back in the oven because I want to get it really hot. So I'm gonna put that back in there, but this is how thin I made the crust. That's how thin I made the crust. I think that's perfectly fine, but I think I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker. Let me just try this. It's a little crunchy, which is good. I like that, and it's a little sour, which gives it a really nice flavor. But as I said, I'm gonna make another one because I do see that this one has kind of like a little hole right there, and I don't want that. I don't want that on my crust. So I'm gonna put this one aside and try again, because I did make this once before. It was delicious. Flavor wise, I have no issues, but I think I still have to kind of, you know, tweak myself to make a better looking crust. Like, I don't want it to have holes in between. Like, I want it to be nice, thin, but at the same time to have a good solid foundation. So I'm gonna put this on the side and I'm gonna go for it one more time. Just a little, and I'm gonna spread it around a little bit with my spatula, and then I'm gonna get that nice and coated. I'm going to go for about a cup of sourdough starter. Let's see how this works. I'm going to spread it out. It's hot, it's nice and hot, so it's starting to stick. And just gonna kind of like nestle it into the corners, in the middle. So it's kind of like pancake batter, where when it starts cooking, you see all the little bubbles. So I am gonna put a little bit of salt on here because I don't want my crust to be unseasoned. So I want to season every single one of my components. I think it's okay, but just because I think it's okay, I'm gonna go for a little bit more. And I'm just going to cover up whatever areas I feel need a little bit more coverage. Okay. Let's go for that. Let's go for that. I mean, my other crust will not go uneaten, but I'm trying to, do something nice here for my husband and the kids. So why not, make a beautiful pizza crust. Okay, so we'll wait for that to come out and we'll start topping. Actually, there is something that I can do while we wait, and that is chop our chicken, or slice our chicken. So I'm just gonna take the chicken and just do some slices. And there we have it. Excellent. So what I'm gonna do is turn it around. See how crunchy it is on the back part. Okay, so I'm gonna top it now. I'm actually going to top this one with, let me grab a spoon. I'm gonna start with the Alfredo basil. So I pulled a little basil out, and I'm just going to put the Alfredo sauce over it. Like just enough. Just enough like that. And I'm actually gonna go as far as I can go into the corners because I want all of the crust to have a good flavor. Okay, excellent. And then I'm going to top it with some basil leaves. These are this is already washed, so we're just going to take a few and sort of lay them on the top like this. Make it pretty. Okay, and then I actually have a mixture of smoked Gouda and mozzarella. So, oh wait, I forgot my chicken. So let's put a few pieces of chicken in there as well. Crowded, but at the same time it's like, I need chicken. Okay, and then now I'm just going to top it with some cheese and put it back in the oven for another few minutes just to get it nice and melted. And here we go. A little more. And let's get this back in the oven. I'm feeling excited about this. I think this is gonna be great. The last time I made it with the barbecue sauce, and that was really good. I had not tried the Alfredo sauce one, so I'm excited to try that one. We'll see how it comes out. The veggies are gonna go into the barbecue, the one with barbecue sauce, so we'll try that out next. My first one is done. I think I pulled it a little too soon, so I'm thinking of putting it back in, but this is what it looks like so far. I grated some Parmesan cheese over it, and I think it looks delicious, but I really do want the crust to be a little bit more golden, so I'm gonna put it back in the oven and give it like another 5 minutes because I think that I got ahead of myself and I pulled it out a little too soon, so it needs a little bit more color. So the one that's in the oven for the barbecue chicken, I'm gonna leave in there. I think it's a total of like 15 minutes. We're gonna wait till it's nice and perfect. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put the barbecue sauce on this one, and it's very thin, so it's gonna be a thin crust pizza. There we go. Some chicken. And some cheese. Put that back in the oven for another 10 minutes. Look at how beautiful that looks. Okay, so here we have our beautiful sourdough pizzas. And we're gonna be having this for dinner. I still have this much sourdough starter, which I can make another crust, and I already have one made. So that'll be a total of 4 pizzas. So I pretty much will have used my entire discard that I had. And then as it accumulates back, it normally takes me about a week to accumulate the same amount of discard. I'll either make the pizzas because we really enjoy them, or I'll make sourdough pancakes. So I'll teach you how to make that next, or at some point. I hope you like this video, and I hope that you will subscribe and like my videos, and I hope you'll be back for more videos like this. I will see you soon. Take care.